What's up, everyone, and welcome to Spark Talk. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Today, I'll be going over 5 trades that can shake up the NBA. There will be no particular order for this list, but just trade ideas that I find interesting for the 2023 offseason. So let's get started. The first trade that could shake up the NBA is the Boston Celtics send Jaylen Brown back home to Atlanta for DeJounte Murray and John Collins. And the Celtics would add in Peyton Pritchard, who has openly requested a trade, and Mike Muscala, who has previously played for the Hawks and can add some shooting in the front court. I thought about adding Danilo Gallinari to this trade, but I think the Celtics still want to try and have him come off the bench if he's healthy for the upcoming season. I like this trade for both teams. It gives Trae Young a true running mate that doesn't need the ball in his hands to score, and it gives them a bit more size too. On the other hand, the Celtics get a young point guard who can defend, pass, and score, and has the potential to be a top 5 guard once guys like Stephen Curry and James Harden get older. Also, John Collins has that defensive upside with his athleticism and can shoot the three efficiently as well as Al Horford has done in the past. Also, Horford can add a bit of mentorship towards Collins as his career winds down. I think this trade is a win-win for both sides. Jaylen Brown wants out of Boston, and John Collins has been wanting out of Atlanta for a couple of years now. But the Celtics add a true point guard to their roster that they have needed for quite some time, and Marcus Smart can finally move back to that 2 guard position on the offensive end where he naturally is. The number 2 trade that would shake up the NBA is Joel Embiid getting another running mate in Damian Lillard for Tobias Harris and DeAnthony Melton with a bunch of picks added in. You won't see those on the screen because ESPN's trade simulator won't allow me to put them in. But this trade could be something that is very possible. Maybe the 76ers would have to add in Tyrese Maxey to that mix if you're going to go all in with Joel Embiid, especially since he is turning 30 next year. But if Harden leaves, Maxey, in my opinion, is most likely not going to be traded, and the 76ers are going to have to probably give up a huge amount of draft capital to Portland to get Damian Lillard. However, if Harden does stay, I think it's more likely that Maxey is a part of this deal since he doesn't really fit that current timeline that the 76ers have. An Embiid, Dame, and Harden lineup would definitely be scary, and they would definitely have to add in wing defenders and make up their bench completely. But this is a scary lineup from an offensive standpoint. On the other hand, Maxey, Shaden Sharp, and whoever is going to be that 3rd pick in this year's draft can grow together, or they can trade that pick and Anthony Simons to go out and get a big man that fits their new timeline. I think this would be a win-win for both teams and allows Portland to go fully into a rebuild mode and develop their young core of players with Shaden Sharp, maybe Anthony Simons, and now Tyrese Maxey, and hopefully develop them into the next Dame and CJ McCollum. But also, it gives the 76ers an actual shot to win the championship, and it gives them maybe the best core in the Eastern Conference with those 3 guys. The number 3 trade that would shake up the NBA is Karl-Anthony Towns finally getting traded to a team I don't think a lot of people expect him to, the Milwaukee Bucks. I have the Bucks giving up Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, and Grayson Allen for Karl-Anthony Towns. I think this works out for both sides. You can have a twin tower situation going on with Brook Lopez and Rudy Gobert, or you can have them kind of rotate in with each other. But most importantly, it gives the Timberwolves an option to trade Rudy Gobert during the season and get that money off the books. And it also gives the Timberwolves much needed veteran leadership that they desperately need and have desperately needed for quite some time. But the main course of action is it gives Anthony Edwards the ability to be that true number 1 guy for them and be that franchise guy that they really need. For the Bucks, it gives Giannis a young, more athletic big who can add a bit more on the offensive end, but it can help spread the floor for Giannis and help him even create more space by driving and kicking it to arguably the best three-point shooting big man in the league at the moment. Also, it allows Giannis or Cat to be a rim protector on the defensive side and something that they can switch during the game. It also allows Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton to focus on defense more so with another great option and Cat there on the offensive side. I think this works for the Bucks and gives them an extra oomph on the offensive end, giving them four guys that can go off on any given night. For the Timberwolves, it gives them, like I said, that much needed veteran leadership and allows their franchise guy to be that number one guy. The number four trade that could shake up the NBA is the Knicks finally get somebody that they have craved for so long. I have the Knicks giving up Julius Randle and Emmanuel Quickley and Evan Fournier for Bradley Beal. I like this because it gives Washington even more of a chance to be in that limbo area that they so desperately want to for some reason. Also, it gives Washington a solid front court pairing with Kristaps Porzingis and Julius Randle, while also giving them Emmanuel Quickley and giving him a chance to be a starter in this league. Also, if this doesn't really work out for Washington, it doesn't really hurt them because they probably should have been going in a rebuild mode for the past 3 years and they just haven't for some reason. For the Knicks, it gives Jalen Brunson a running mate and relieves some of that pressure off his shoulders in terms of scoring and having to put up 40 in the playoffs for his team to actually be competitive. Bradley Beal has been a much better performer in the postseason than Julius Randle. It allows the Knicks to keep that RJ Barrett experiment going and gives them an option to trade him for a win now type of player later in the season. This is a good trade for both teams. It allows Washington to do what they want, whether it be tanking or hovering around that play-in area. For the Knicks, it gives them options to go out and get a third piece if RJ Barrett isn't that guy. And it gives them a way better playoff performer in Bradley Beal. The number 5 trade that can shake up the NBA made me also have to go to another trade simulator for me to get these contracts down to make this trade happen. But I really like this trade for all 3 teams. Yes, 3 teams. The Raptors would get Davis Bertans, Tim Hardaway, and D'Angelo Russell with a new 3-year, $70 million contract. And I looked it up for expected value for him and for some other players just to get a rough value of what their contracts may look like in this trade. The Mavericks would get DJ Wilson, Pascal Siakam, and Austin Reeves on a 4-year, $100 million contract. And the Lakers would get Otto Porter Jr. and Kyrie Irving on a 3-year, $130 million deal. I love this trade for all 3 teams. I like the Raptors going into a rebuild mode and letting Scotty Barnes be that number 1 guy while also giving him a fine second option in D'Lo, or maybe a trade piece down the line to get them a better young star to pair up with Scotty Barnes. I like the Mavericks getting a guy that has proven to be a great second option on a championship team in Siakam. And I love the addition of Austin Reeves as that third option and a guy that can be a backcourt running mate with Luka, similar to how Jalen Brunson was with him in 2022. And I can just see a very similar success with Austin Reeves in that backcourt with him. The Lakers finally get Kyrie, even though I don't see Kyrie wanting to play for LA due to the strict COVID policies in California. But he's LeBron's guy and a true point guard for them, while they also pick up a great rotational piece in Otto Porter Jr. I think this moves the needle for the Mavericks and the Lakers. The Mavericks can have a starting lineup of Luka, Austin Reeves, Siakam, Christian Wood, and Dwight Powell if they choose to sign him back and bring him back. For the Lakers, they can put Kyrie, LeBron, Anthony Davis, and potentially Mo Bamba if they want to keep him going into the 2023 season. And for the Raptors, they can finally move on from that 2019 championship core players that they have really fallen in love with and actually look toward the future. Since I'm feeling really good today, I thought I'd throw in a sixth trade that could shake up the league. And this one is probably my most unrealistic, and I don't know if I really see it happening. But I think it would be fun to see how these teams respond to this trade and how the future of the NBA might look if this trade does happen. The Phoenix Suns trade DeAndre Ayton to the Indiana Pacers, like everyone thought was going to happen last year, and they trade away Chris Paul back to the Los Angeles Clippers. The Suns receive Miles Turner and Buddy Hield from the Pacers, while the Pacers get DeAndre Ayton, like I previously said, and Marcus Morris Sr. and Robert Covington as veteran cap dumps. This is something I would love to see happen. Chris Paul going back to the Clippers to team up with Kawhi, Paul George, and maybe Russell Westbrook if he wants to sign back to LA if Chris Paul ends up going there. That would be a very interesting team. It would add to the deepest team in the NBA, and they would just keep getting deeper and deeper. And for the Suns, they get Buddy Hield, arguably the best three-point shooter in the league at the moment, and they add Ayton's replacement and a better defender in Miles Turner. They line up a Devin Booker, Buddy Hield, Kevin Durant, Miles Turner, and whoever they want to add in that 3 or 4 spot in that starting lineup would be so fun to watch. Also, the Pacers getting much needed veteran leadership in Marcus Morris and Robert Covington. Plus, you add in another core young piece to your already young duo of Tyrese Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin. That would just be a fun team to watch and maybe a team to watch out for in 2023. And I know picks would probably get swapped and all that, but I've never really been good at deciding pick values and all of that to these trades because they change depending on the year, depending on the team, and depending on the circumstance. But I know for some of these trades, definitely picks would be thrown in, so don't think I didn't think about it. I did, and especially with the 76ers, that trade would definitely have a lot of picks thrown into it, and I think the Suns trade, I think the Pacers would definitely accumulate some picks apart from both teams as well. But also, let me know down below in the comments what your favorite trade of mine was and what your trade that would shake up the NBA would be. Thanks for watching.